this on? Okay. This is the 15th regular meeting of the Town Board saga. I'd like to point out the emergency exits, two at the back of the room, one over here to our right, your left. Please silence your cell phones or other electronic devices that might make noise so that the meeting is not unnecessarily disturbed. If you must speak on your cell phone, please go to the back of the back hallway or outside. And we ask the audience to keep their comments to a minimum because we've gotten complaints of ongoing chatter. The town acknowledges the importance of full public participation in all meetings and hearings. We therefore urge all those who wish to address the board to use the microphone at the front of the room. If anyone is unable to hear, let us know, and we'll try to make the necessary adjustments. Ready for the Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Conway? Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we please stand for a minute for our troops who are in harm's way? Thank you.
Well, we'll jump right in. Town board meeting minutes from August 27th. Has everyone gotten a copy?
No, I know Tracy was working on them. I was here today, but I didn't have an opportunity to read them.
Do you want to defer approval?
I will defer approval.
Would everyone like to defer approval?
While we're on this topic, I might as well just jump in. May 14th, regular town board meeting. Back on May 14th, 2014, this board elected to have a finalized agenda be completed and posted on the website Monday at 4 p.m. and also the preliminary agenda posted at the end of Friday. In the months since this resolution was passed, it has not been followed for the preliminary agenda as well as final agenda. Even if there are emergencies, the preliminary agenda should be posted. I have requested on numerous occasions, also others of the board have as well, that this resolution be followed. This failure to post the agenda in a timely manner discourages the public from participating in their town's business. Before every meeting, our supervisor states, the town acknowledges the importance of full public participation in all meetings and hearings. I ask how the public can fully participate when they don't have the information for the meeting or hearing in a timely manner. We are elected officials whose job is to represent the people of this town. We need to keep open lines of communication. We made great strides with public input for agenda items. Stop the disservices and get the agenda out in a timely manner.
So, does everyone want to defer the town board meeting minute approval for the meeting of August 27th?
Yes.
Okay. Come up at the next meeting. We do have an abstract that the board wanted to have presented at the town board meetings for approval. Is there discussion about the abstract that currently you have before you? It is number 36.
I had a meeting with Shirley Stewart today and Diane. I don't have any questions.
I'll start then. Question on check number 47614. Mr. Germain, are your bills based off of actual time? There were 7 files and it reached $6,300.
Which, I don't know which bills, I don't know which one you're talking about.
I'll show you, there's information on here I don't really want
Can I take a
to
look?
let out. Absolutely.
We get served in August, that's the time for the filings. We compared answers, bill of particulars, and responses on these 8 cases.
Great.
By the time section goes through those, and get copies if you want, they round them down to that.
That was the explanation.
Yeah, those are all text or litigation files. We have a lot of them. Unfortunately, it's a sign of the times.
Do you have any other questions?
Also with the, so those checks, check number 1797, the
Why don't you go to the invoice number?
invoice number is 2452. These are drainage and maintenance improvements. I'm just wondering why Richard Hooper would authorize these. Isn't this through highway, not through code?
No. Highway drainage is completely separate. We have a drainage committee for off-road drainage, and it's chaired by Mr. Richard Hooper. So he would be the appropriate person to finalize those bills.
As well as through further on this, it's there's a summary of services on the second page of this. So it says before professional services rendered from 7/1 to 2014 through 7/31/2014. It says drainage maintenance and improvements, engineering work request number 1583, appropriation SD 8540404000, and just says review of drainage complaints, site visits, assistance with response letters, and construction observation services related to finishing up Glendora and the entire Wooderton Tender Trail project. Then on the next page, the actual billable hours and the rate, there's none of them. It's Bruce Letts has nothing, Douglas Whitman has nothing, and then Willis Shelley. I don't know what days they did work. I have no idea what they did on those days. All I have is hours that they worked and then the rate.
Richard, could you answer that?
I don't know, it's new. I mean, I'm aware of it, I signed it, I review all the drainage group invoices from CNS. It's hours spent for engineering, it's hours spent by Bruce, it's time spent by Doug for site visits, group meetings. Mark's aware, Vern's aware, we all spend a lot of time in the site on drainage. And then we meet the following day for meetings. Doug Wickman from CNS is our drainage person, representative, expert, I'll say. And I think that at least my review of those hours is adequate.
Do you know what they did on what days?
I'd have to look at it. I don't, I know what he does when he's in for the drainage site visits. I know what he does when he's in for the meetings.
Do you know what he does on every day?
No.
Okay. Next question is on check number 010864. Same thing. There's a summary.
Which is invoice number what?
2552.
For whom? To whom?
This is to CNS companies as well. It's for Cicero Commons, the Leto project. And that's the same thing. I get the same information. It's a nice summary. But again, on the days, I have no idea what these people did. I just have their hours they worked and the rate that they get paid, and then the total amount. There's no description of any work that was done.
Well, I think it's pretty hard for anyone, I haven't seen this myself, but I think it's pretty hard for anyone to answer these questions when they don't have this information in front of them.
And that's why
So I think it's a little bit unfair, not to give anyone notice that you're going to have specific questions about these prior to the meeting so that they could be prepared.
Well, these invoices are supposed to be pretty verbatim. What I did this day, how I worked. It's the same when I go out to work. You can give a nice summary. I do training, I do on-site support, and I do go live. But I tell them every specific thing I do every day. I work 2 hours training with such and such individual. Under that, it's what exactly we did in that training. There's none of that in any of these. I can't approve any of these.
Has there ever been any detail in those bills?
I don't think so.
The answer is no, right? So if we want detail, we need to go back to CNS you and Vern and Mark all received letters from CNS dated September 2nd, asking from John Trimble, asking for a meeting, referring back to the letter to the whole board, April 24, 2014, saying if you have concerns to meet with them, and none of us reached out to them. So if we want to make change, then I think we need to go back to CNS and ask for change, more detail in the bills or whatever we would like. But they've been doing those bills like that since I've been here. So if we want change, I think it's fair to ask them to make change. So
I think we have. I believe Councilor Benesky's been doing that for months now, since
Yeah.
April, as well as Councilor, oh my gosh, I'm blowing your name. Councilor Conway, apologize, sorry. And then also, it's not only CNS, it's LaFleur Contractors.
Well, wait a minute, this information has never been conveyed to CNS. Mr. Benesky may have brought up comments, but I don't believe that he has.
Well,
This is standard operating
Well,
procedure.
Before the meeting gets out of
It's
hand.
not standard operating procedure.
Okay.
I was employed and, I had codes, and they were general codes about the things that I did, okay? So, I did not have to account minute by minute for all of the tasks that I completed in a particular day. So, I think that you need to be more specific about what it is that you expect. Since 2010, bills haven't been questioned. So if it's a new day, then, we need to communicate that to whomever, whatever vendor, not just CNS, but to whomever. We need to communicate that instead of, trying to have a confrontation in the middle of a public.
It wasn't just for CNS, it was also LaFleur Contractors.
Well, LaFleur is part of drainage, and I think it would have been fair to Mr. Hooper, to speak to him ahead of time so that he could have prepared some kind of response.
Well, it's also Mr. Hooper's job to look at these invoices.
Well, Mr. Hooper is looking at the invoices, and I believe he said that he was satisfied, with the bills that were submitted. Now, you have a different opinion apparently, but Mr. Hooper indicated that he was satisfied with the work that was indicated on those invoices. That's why he signed it. Now, I haven't seen those, but that's why he signed it.
Mike, let me just add too, the LaFleur bills, we review those quite closely. I questioned CNS, Doug and Bruce on some hours spent on a recent project, and they verified what was done. I was satisfied with that. As I said, we sit in our meetings, our drainage group meetings, Mark's there, Vern's there, we're well aware of LaFleur and what LaFleur is doing and how many hours LaFleur is spending on a project. So I'm very satisfied. I think the other two gentlemen up there as well are that LaFleur is doing a fine job and we're not being overcharged. So I can only speak to your comments. I don't have it to look at.
Yeah, I would make a suggestion. One of the issues that we had before things, just so that things don't get out of hand, we stay on track. We've had problems with invoices, with not having any detail. They have not been itemized, and we have asked for itemization. However, we haven't received it, or the level of itemization. In some cases, no itemization, and bills have been approved. And in this case, there was some itemization. To Mr. Becallo's point, that if it is not comprehensive enough, then I would suggest that we have each department head make that notification to their vendors that the bills, as we all as a board in the last meeting said, that we will not accept or approve an invoice unless it is detailed, and we have a level of detail for that to happen. So I would ask. Madam Supervisor, that you ask the department heads to, in fact, notify their vendors that we need that, and we'll crawl a little bit before we'll walk, but we'll get to it.
That is a good suggestion, but I think that you need to provide the department heads a little bit more feedback about what you're expecting. I mean,
Okay.
the department heads do approve the bills, the invoices
Right.
that are submitted. And I don't think that they ever sign off on them unless they are satisfied. Now, I understand that we have new town board members up here who don't understand the billing process. You know, some of this stuff is really routine for our department heads. You know, they know what's going on, and you don't. You don't
Mr.
know
Hooper,
what's
were you
going on.
outside watching them work? Before or CNS?
I would see, and that's when we do all the visits, yes.
All day,
Whenever we visit, yes.
all day,
It's not all day.
every day?
We only meet once or twice a month, depending on
You give me
activity.
3 different answers.
What's the question?
So whenever you watch CNS, the floor, every
I said I
single-
do not watch the floor.
I looked at LaFleur's work. I go out in the field and I look. And,
every day?
well, I don't look, and obviously,
We have
I do go out.
a, you know,
I
I need
don't want to get into this, these need to be
No,
detailed.
well-
I need to know what exactly they did on the day they did it. End
Well,
of
then
story.
why don't you go out and look? Why don't you go out and look and see what
You
they're
should be
doing?
going out as, you wouldn't
We-
have to
we-
if these were detailed. I'm not arguing with you. This is standard invoicing. And
You
the
may
nerve
not-
that you have to say that I don't understand what invoicing is about, I take that a little personally. I own my own
You
business,
don't.
I invoice constantly.
You clearly don't understand the town's invoicing system. You clearly do not. We have a contract with CNS, we have a contract with LaFleur. Am I not correct? So having a contract that was approved by these boards, one board or another, you know, we are going on a little bit of trust because there is a contract there. So for you to say, you know, that an employee has to be out there looking over the shoulder of CNS or LaFleur or anyone else is a little bit
You're completely
unrealistic.
missing the point.
No, I am
The
not
point is,
missing the
if
point.
these are detailed, you wouldn't have to watch over them. You know exactly the work they're doing. The fact that you're not out there, you don't see what they're doing, and they're giving invoices that aren't complete, there's not enough information. The fact that you're saying yes, it's unbelievable that you're approving these. Unbelievable.
Well, they are complete, but apparently you have a difference of opinion. So let's go on. Do you have more questions?
Was that a no?
Still more questions?
That's a no.
Do you want to make a motion to approve this abstract? Yes.
Very well. We'll move for the adoption of a resolution to to approve the abstract as presented.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed for the reasons I stated.
The motion carries 4-1. Budget modifications?
I have budget modifications, no budget amendments. I received them before I got here. I was here today in Shirley's office, and she was having a difficult time because she had invoices and checks all over her office. $800,000 worth, according to her. So it was a difficult day. The councilors have any questions about these modifications?
I just want to make it known that Councilor Burris is not wrong. He did receive these before he came. They were emailed at 4:07 p.m. I actually did have a couple questions.
Okay.
The first one, A1620402, highway break room, $500 to what?
The way I read that, Mike, is that those first three are all going to that building's equipment line. Is that right?
Yes.
When they do that, they kind of do it the way it's written.
Then I also have questions on B80102, zoning equipment, $425.77 to B80101 to overtime zoning personnel services. Can someone explain that?
They're taking it out of the personal services OT line.
For what?
They're moving it to the personal services OT.
I understand that, but for what reasons?
Well, zoning, has had some overtime issues during the busy summer.
Can you speak on that, Richard?
We had overtime. We required overtime. I asked Shirley if there was money for overtime. She said yes, we're way behind.
What caused the overtime?
Amount of worksheets. Workload.
Also, the next one is B801047, zoning computer labor, $782.10 to B801048, zoning computer software.
Well, again, this is just moving money from one line to another in order to cover some software expenses.
And what software expenses would that be?
Well, it does not specify here, but Shirley monitors the budget very closely, and with such a tight budget, you know, we are seeing more and more modifications just to move money around to cover our different lines that had previously been approved. So this is nothing unusual.
Then B19104, unallocated insurance, $5,579 to B90408, workers' comp.
We had an increase of workers' compensation premium of $75,000 for this year. It was unexpected, so we're moving money around to cover the expense of the premium. And the premium, workers' comp premium is divided up between Fund A, Fund B, and DB, so this is just to make sure that, I guess it's the A fund, the B fund is going to be covered.
But, this is the first I saw this, and I know that they were behind there today. But and I also played phone tag with Chris Woznicka, but we did not communicate today. I'm not. What is the $4,400 from the highway garage, from the A6 1620403 to A16202 buildings equipment?
Apparently there was some equipment issue that needed to be covered, so she's just moving money around. You know, you need to remember that if we need to move money back into the highway garage, we will do that. I mean, this is just, this is done to keep the budget lines filled at any one time. And this goes on all of the time. Anything else?
Right, then I'd like to make a motion to accept the budget modifications as written here, and just accept them instead of reading them all down.
I'll second the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I am opposed. Again, I got this at 4:07. Very difficult for us town board members to get in depth with these and actually look to see what's going on with the money. Again, I have the fiduciary responsibility. And the last two board meetings, I've had to ask for these at, say, 3 p.m. So it's kind of like, you know, but yeah, if these could come out earlier, it'd be much appreciated as well. So.
Thank you. Okay, item number 6, annual trail license contract. The Snow Owls Incorporated of Cicero and Clay annually sign a contract with National Grid in order to use their easements in the wintertime. So basically, I don't know if Robert, you've ever seen this, but this is it. Like
I've seen it many times.
And it is an agreement, you know, between the Springfield organization and National Grid, but our role in this is, I think the very last page says that we, the town, hereby does not object, you know, to this agreement, so.
That's over the years, it's been a National Grid request that we not, to know whether the municipalities object or not.
So is this just basically so that the town is aware that this is going on? And
Yeah, it's to make Niagara Mohawk and National Grid comfortable that there's no objection by the town. I've been doing it for many years in the two municipalities that I represent. It's a big group. I fully support snowmobile.
They also attached a certificate of liability insurance from our provider.
That's something that we asked for, and
Right.
that they have to provide.
So that's there.
It's a mess. Okay, would anyone like to make a resolution?
I'll move for the adoption of a resolution to authorize the supervisor to execute the annual trail license contract 2014 to 2015 between National Grid and the Cicero-Clay Snow Owls.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed. Tracy, let me know for the opening statement I had for the meeting.
What was that?
I said no, and then I said no for the, I'll give it to you, the whole statement we leave, but the statement I said at the beginning about the town board agendas.
For the contract?
No, the town board agendas, I just said no to the annual trail license contract. Yes, I said no. For the statement I made at the beginning of the meeting, and I'll give you that statement.
Thank you.
Mr. Becallo, would you like to present the Parks and Rec?
Well, since I'll be saying no as well, someone else can read that.
Mark, would you like to read the Parks and Rec?
Mike, come on. Interesting, I'm sorry, and I apologize for speaking out of turn. But you are my liaison. You don't have any concern about these items being paid for. The money's there, we've talked about it. Because you're standing on principle about an agenda, don't let my items sit idle or be deferred. You're my spokesperson.
Out of order.
You're my spokesperson.
Out of order.
Mr. George, you are out of order.
I'm a department head. And that is my liaison who's supposed to speak on my behalf.
He speaks for the town.
And the Department of Parks
All
and
right.
Rec.
Mr. George.
Would you like to read the resolution?
I have some questions on the resolution. And I talked to Shirley about it today. I did not get with you. I apologize for that. The $1,886 to Sweetwoods Memorial Company to replace an engraved marble bench inadvertently damaged by town mowing staff, not covered by insurance. The town's deductible being $2,500. Could you shed some light on that?
Sure, exactly what it is. My mowing crew was mowing at Stone Arabia Schoolhouse. They tapped the edge of a bench that was put there, that's an engraved bench, and they damaged it beyond repair. We need a new bench to replace it. It's engraved. I called our insurance company. The deductible is $2,500. So we are coming up with the costs out of our town budget to replace it. There are two quotes there. One is $3,100, I believe, is the other quote that I got for this, and $1,886, and I'm asking for approval to replace that bench.
So this is the repair.
This is a replacement, 100% replacement, because we broke the bench backing off of where it attaches to the seat.
The employee who damaged it, and I understand it was an accident, he or she understands that that cost us a lot of money.
Of course they do. No one did it on purpose.
Yeah, I believe that. Okay, move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the following: $4,300 to Contact Community Services for staffing at canteen through a partnership with Contact Community Services.
And they're doing individual.
You want them individually? Okay, and that's in the form of a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'm opposed for previously stated.
So you're gonna oppose all of these, so we'll just,
Okay. $1,886 to Sweetwoods Memorial Company to replace an engraved marble bench inadvertently damaged by town mowing staff, not covered by insurance. Town's deductible is $2,500.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
One opposed.
An agreement, I make a motion for an agreement between the town of Cicero and Cicero Falcons Pop Warner Incorporated to cover the cost of all electric expenses for field lights at Central Park, reviewed and approved by Robert Germain on 9/3/14. My understanding is there's no expense to the town in that, they're picking up the expense. I read the detail on it. That's in a form of motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
One opposed.
Okay, and then we have $1,080 to GL Adams Plumbing for additional work on removal of plumbing fixtures not identified until the excavation regarding the fountain removal and capping at Gateway Park. That's in the form of a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 One opposed.
We have one motion, if you would allow me, town board, on regarding the ethics commission.
Oh, I was gonna say that too.
Are you going to save it?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Can we do it at the end?
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Jody, when did we receive the notice about the $100,000 DASNY grant?
I just received the agreement from the state on Monday, so I wasn't able to get it, actually in the mail Tuesday morning, so I wasn't able to get it on the agenda, but I need to get approval this evening, and so it was a late item agenda add, so that I can start reimbursement of that funds for the playground at Central Park.
This is playground equipment at Central Park. It is installed, and now we'll be able to pay for it with the grant money.
Correct.
Correct? I haven't seen it, but I am told that it's a very beautiful unit, and it is a nice unit that can also be accessed by disabled people. So, I move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the DASNY grant disbursement agreement and authorize the supervisor to sign the agreement. This approval allows the town to seek reimbursement for the Central Park Playground Project grant for $100,000.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. One opposed?
That'd be correct.
Clerks, we're at number 9.
You're right.
We have had a number of issues with the HVAC system in the codes office. And Tracy has worked diligently, to try to get this resolved. We've got some temporary units in there right now, still, right?
Still. Yes, one.
So we, after much haggling, Tracy has, I think this is the best price we're gonna get, right, Tracy? Okay. Do you want to read this one, Barbara?
Yeah, Department of Zoning Planning, Code Enforcement. Move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the following purchases. $1,752 to.
No,
Clerk's office. Clerk's office, do this one.
Oh, I got the wrong, okay,
Sorry,
that's all right.
I said clerk's office and we put you at the wrong place.
Move for the adoption of a resolution for the following. $4,400 to Syracuse Engine Systems, including electrical and removal of old unit to replace the zoning and planning and code enforcement offices, heating and air conditioning units with a new dustless split AC heating unit. And that is a form of a motion.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And one opposed. Okay, now you can read the next.
I actually had 2 questions from the public in this one.
Okay.
Since you're first on the page, Deborah, you can go ahead.
Good evening. At the last town board meeting, Councilor Becallo asked that the purchase of software be tabled until the IT group could review it, and this is what we found. There is no compatibility patch for Outlook 2002. Such an old version of Outlook will not work with Unicity. Office 2002 is no longer supported by Microsoft, therefore it cannot be updated. 6 computer users in codes enforcement cannot open attachments that are in the newer versions of Office. The inefficiencies created because of the use of extremely outdated software will be eliminated if the software is purchased. Multiple standalone copies of Office 2013 can be activated with one free Microsoft email account such as Hotmail. The town can set this up. Until today, I was under the impression that you had to have one account for every standalone copy, and I was wrong. Office 2010, the existing suite used on 2 computers in the codes office and throughout the town hall, is compatible with Office 2013. My recommendation is you authorize this purchase. Thank you.
Is there someone else that wanted to speak on this?
Judy Blakey?
Good evening. Just a question. Is there any other departments that are going to be needing this software? Seeing as the compatibility isn't.
I might be able to answer that.
Okay, go ahead.
I was told that a couple of years ago, almost all the machines in the town hall were updated,
Right.
and at that time, Office 2010 was put on them. So they should be compatible.
Also,
So for some reason, Code's office didn't get those updates, and I'm not quite sure why.
They were the poor stepchild
no,
at that time.
it's not true.
Well,
It was the fact that they had not had, the municipality was not, it was in the makes, and their, all of their computers were going to be replaced. That was the reason. But,
I think the computers were replaced, but their software was not. But maybe that's
doesn't
not
matter.
right.
Also, when purchasing, I think you may have answered my question, that obviously when you purchase several, that there should be a bulk price as opposed to individual price.
There is, it's called licensing, and the governmental, the price for the government would be $297 each license.
$2 cheaper.
No, this is $219.
219 versus
Then why is
299.
it, we don't have to go through the government on that?
No, it's Microsoft has a government pricing. And for standalone copies, it's $219 through Computer Outlet. It would be $297 if we just got the licenses through Computer Outlet.
But don't we have
Or
to
each
license
is
our,
our-
don't we have to license?
We can do
Our
it
software?
We can do it through computer
No,
outlet.
the software comes with a license. Standalone copies have individual licenses.
Yeah.
It's different from the licensing where you get no software at all, you get, physically you download it.
Still doesn't make any sense.
You know something? I agree with you, it doesn't.
Does not make any sense. At all.
But I'm not Microsoft.
We met Monday as an IT committee, and it was a good meeting, I thought. But the fact is, I have questions on this one as well. I'm not debating the fact of whether we need to address this issue, so let that be out there. It would be unwise for the board to make any purchases without a complete understanding of the entire system. I wrote a resolution to have an inventory started. I have that resolution prepared with me as well, but it got knocked off the agenda, so it's knocked off the agenda for this week. We agreed as a IT committee, Richard did as well, before we made any purchases, to have an inventory done. This last inventory was done in 2010. Things changed a lot in the computer world, as we all know. So Tim Kelly, as I stated before, who's also on the IT committee, couldn't make the meeting tonight, did his own research as well, and we found it's even cheaper. So if you go to the link, it's softwaresupplisource.com, Syracuse, it's Office, Home, and Business. I have the link at the bottom of the page. And he said, go to the link below. I found copies of Microsoft Home and Business 2013 for $104. I see no reason why to pay full price on Microsoft website for the same thing. Some quick math, 8 copies at 104 equals 832. At the time we were talking about 8 computers. Then a full 50% of the 1,700 that was requested. I would, however, hold off this agenda item until completion of a full inventory of the systems at the town before purchasing anything new. By the way, this is a general, everyday consumer price, so you don't have to go through it, like Deborah stated.
No, we weren't going through Microsoft.
This site and others have further discounts for multi-user licenses for government agencies. So a grand total of 6 computers would equal $624. So just download it straight from the website. So.
Okay, I have a, and I'm coming from an old operations guy. I spent some time in sales because I thought I was pretty good at it, but my heart and soul belonged to operations and making sure the business ran and the trucks ran on time and the aircraft flew on time when I ran the airport operation. And my question is, I am all for an inventory of of what we have there, but on the other hand, the business has to run. So I think we're splitting hairs as to whether or not, and I don't mean any offense by that term, but I agree that if we can do better than $782 and you are able to procure that software for $624, I don't want to hold up the productivity of our office because my understanding is that you need to communicate with municipal. That's correct. So why don't we just modify this? Let's buy the software that we need, let's run the business, and then conduct the necessary inventory of our equipment.
It's pretty simple, Mark. Go ahead.
The problem is that we don't have IT people here. Now, this is something brand new that Mike brought up to go to a link. And this has been a problem that we have communicated to the IT committee. We don't have IT people here, to help. So who's going to go to the link? Who's going to get, this additional software?
I would recommend Councilor Becallo. You're the IT guru.
That's why we purchase. That's why we have agreements with OCs and agreements with Computer Outlet.
Can you
But
make it?
the
I'm
IT
just saying,
committee-
can we make it happen so that we
The
aren't
IT
pulling out
committee, Mark, I should explain this to you. The IT committee is made up of 3 people. Jessica was present at the meeting. Deborah was on the IT committee, Tim Kelly, and then we asked Richard as well. We came to a consensus that evening, Monday night, to have an inventory done before we purchased anything. Because the fact is, it could be more than 6 computers. It could be a whole bunch of computers that need upgrading. If we can get a cheap price on that, you might as well do it.
Well, I don't think
Plus, we need to know what our infrastructure is.
May
We
I
need to
ask?
know.
Just let me say that I don't think we came to a consensus. The question was raised, why can't we do both? Why can't we do an inventory, and why can't we get the software? I mean, the codes office, six users of the computers in the codes office, have old hardware. And since the meeting, we found out that there was a lot of information on the inventory. Deborah spoke to Computer Outlet, who did the inventory. They're going to give us updated information. We've talked to David Kerr. He said that he is aware of some of the inventory information up there and that it had been updated. So that was the reason I said, well, let's look and see what inventory information we already have and put it off until the next agenda. We need to buy the software for the codes office. They have been needing this and they've been asking for equipment, and the IT committee hasn't moved on this.
Let me, if I may ask a question. Actually, I have 2 questions. The first question is how fast can you do the inventory? How fast can you get that done?
It can be done in a day.
Okay, so in
For
two
$1,500?
It's pretty easy. What they do is the inventory is done. Whoever comes in and does it, they go in on the computer. They have software. They load on. All the hardware is logged. All the software is logged. It doesn't really take that long time. But again, it's very.
I don't need to get in the weeds of that. What I'm looking for is are we saying then that if we do the inventory and it takes 1 day, today being Wednesday, the Friday Richard can get his equipment or his software so that we can run the business, run the office efficiently, or are we gonna? How long is this gonna take? And then my second question would be to you, Richard. How soon do you need the software? What is it doing by not having the software?
It's
You can address the microphone.
Creates overtime.
Very good.
They're not efficient.
All right,
We
so
can't link to Municity. We can't some of the guys can't get links, just normal email links. We had Deborah in to try to assist. That was the second part of that IT meeting we had. We did all agree that we're gonna do an inventory, but we also agreed that Deborah was gonna come in because she had a link that she thought could help us. She did come in the next morning, the link didn't work.
All right. So if I hear you correctly, $547, if I remember the figure that we have here somewhere on the disbursement schedule. We could eliminate that the overtime is caused by people not being able to use the tools.
Yeah.
All right, so the
Work just
inventory
builds
goes
up,
away.
Mark, you can't get it done.
So for $624, we're gonna pay 400 and whatever it was in overtime.
I believe I asked during the budget modifications, and again, I know we're getting budget modifications, why the overtime was so high. No mention wasn't of the IT system, you said it was a
It's
busy
part
system.
of it, it's workload, you're bogged down.
Your
because it's not
story
efficient.
constantly changes, Richard. I'm just.
May I ask my question?
As a member of the IT committee, yes.
Well, yes, as a member, I will tell you, I usually buy my software online, but I have a credit card I can use. Now, I was under the impression that the town didn't have a credit card that it could use. If it does have a credit card, you can go online and buy it, definitely.
Jody, you got a credit card?
People, if we buy anything on credit, you have to buy it on a personal credit card and then be invoiced back through the system. There is no town credit card.
And the town does, and people do that.
We've had to do it in my
We have
department.
had to do,
I did not
employees
realize,
have had to do that, yes.
I did not realize that.
So, all right, well, who's going to run the software inventory on Thursday, Mike?
Like I said, I mentioned Monday, it would behoove us to send that out to bid, because you don't want Computer Outlet to do that.
You said
And
it
you
was
don't want
free.
BOCES to do that. It wasn't free.
How long, I guess the question is, with all due respect of everybody here, how long is that gonna take? And how much more money is it gonna cost us if we don't have the software? So if we can purchase the software for $104 a copy now, which is certainly better than $297 or $219.
219.
And we're looking at a total of $832, whatever it is. But we paid $417 out in overtime because we didn't have it. It seems to me that we should probably purchase those 6 copies. Let's get it up and running, get it working, okay? Let's eliminate the overtime. And then complete put it out to bid, whatever we have to do for the inventory. Again, we're going to crawl a little bit before we walk. We will get this nailed down, so we're a better running machine, moving forward. But still, a business has to run. That would be my recommendation.
Well, we need to move along with this information. I have it dated 8/14. The information regarding this is now a month old, almost, where we had 3 different quotes for 8 pieces. I'm just saying, let's time bound this thing and let's move along. So if we can get an inventory, that's fine, but I'd like to put a date on it. We need to move along. We can't wait another month to make this happen. It's my take on it. We can do it for less as long as we're sure that we can get that for $624. Then, of course, that's not a problem. But this is not my area, so if we could get inventory done.
Can I just add a point, and Tracy may be able to back this? It's within the last 2 years that we all were upgraded to, at minimum, 2007, 2010. Some of us still have 07, but we were all, and there is an inventory. The chief led that whole operation. I think that, I didn't realize zoning didn't get an upgrade, but all the rest of us got either hardware upgrade and software, and/or software upgrade. And I may have that inventory, I may have it. If not, the chief has that.
I asked
inventory.
Chief for it, and he told me to go to Jeff at Computer Outlet.
We can get the inventory.
I think I will look in my records tomorrow, and I know Tracy, because all of the offices were upgraded with hardware, software, to at least 2010 software. So I will look in my records and get back to you tomorrow.
So you're looking to send out, for the inventory, you're looking to send out to get quotes, right? Okay, well, that is going to take some time by the time we get that, so we need to move ahead.
You can have Computer Outlet do it. You can have overseas do it. I don't suggest them to do it because of contract with them. As I said before, they may say the color code things, usually green, yellow, and red. Greens, this doesn't need to be updated, everything's running fine. Yellow is, you might want to look at this the next couple of years. Then they'll say red.
Well,
Red is what you need to update immediately. And again, we have a contract with them, and they'll turn what should be a yellow into a red and a green into a yellow.
I don't see how that inventory should affect the
Yeah.
purchase of the software, is my point. You know, we can do an inventory, but I still
Let it
want
be
to.
known, the
Well,
majority of
could
the
I
IT
please-
committee.
Could I
not
please
licensed.
finish my sentence, Mike? I think that we need to get this software. I think we need to get the inventory information that we have, take a look at it, and then see where we go for further inventory. That's what I would like to do, and it seems reasonable that we do that.
I'll go a little bit further. I had a sidebar conversation with Richard Hooper prior to the meeting. I think it's wonderful that we can buy the software for $104 a copy. I'm willing to make a motion or support a motion to spend $832. Councilor Becallo, if you would take ownership of that, if you can buy it for $104, I would say go ahead and do it.
We only need 6.
6
So
copies,
with
then
624.
take $208 off of that figure. 624, okay, and as far as I'm concerned, I mean, that's almost the cost of the overtime, so I would support that resolution right now. Let's get it bought, let's get it loaded up, let's get it working, and then we'll complete the inventory.
Now, who's gonna make that purchase, Mike or Mark, and who's gonna install it?
That's right.
I think it's pretty, it's, you know, I mean, it's pretty.
Someone has to go online, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Okay.
someone has to go online with a credit card, and the town doesn't have that.
Well, you can use
No.
my American Express if you want to reimburse me for it. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. You know, we've done that before, where I've had to submit personal invoices on my personal credit card. And the company reimbursed it as long as the,
So who's gonna go online to purchase this?
I'll do it for you. I'll buy it
Tomorrow?
tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
Yeah, you just give me the links or whatever I gotta have. And I'll ask Mary to give me the credit card.
Mr. McCallum, will you?
As
Yeah.
I said before, not causing any fights, the IT committee, majority of the IT committee advised for a inventory first before we purchased anything. And again, we walked out in consensus at that meeting.
I don't
I
believe
think we walked out with Deborah thinking she had a link to hook us up the following
to
morning.
try,
That's how we walked out.
to try,
And
yes.
And I disagree with consensus. I said I do not know. I agreed to do an inventory, but that was before I found out that we had inventory information. So that's incomplete information. So, did you make the motion?
I make a motion that we purchase 6 copies of Microsoft Office Standard 2013 at $219 or $104, I believe, each, and I will do that tomorrow morning. That's in the form of a motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
One opposed?
I'm opposed by the reasons I stated during this discussion.
Deborah, could you also help with this effort? I want to make sure that, you know, we get this purchased in a timely fashion.
If he purchases it,
Well,
I'll do what I can to install it.
Mark, I think, already said he wasn't a computer expert, so he may be.
I'm pretty good, but.
Oh, he knows how to buy online, I bet.
Yeah, I do. But if I can reach out to you tomorrow,
You sure can.
I'll give me what I need to do, I'll purchase it, and I have everything sent to you. And then, as long as the board's okay with, you know, whatever the reimbursement for the 624, whatever the tax was. Oh, actually, I
In
think
the
there would
event,
be.
in the event that this doesn't work, can we revert to the
I'll need
219?
a tax certificate, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
In the event that this 104 doesn't work, can we revert to this 219 in the interest of efficiency for the codes department? I don't want to wait 2 weeks. You know, if this doesn't work, I don't want to wait 2 weeks for them. They've waited a long time.
Well, then, if it doesn't work, then we'll,
Can
you
we-
know, obviously, we're gonna have to do something else here.
Do it not to succeed, Mark.
Okay. Not to exceed $624.
No,
No, not to exceed
13, 14.
Or
13,
14? Okay.
So can you agree to amend your resolution to that, Mark?
Yes, I will make a motion that we purchase 6 copies of Microsoft Office Standard at a cost of $104 each for a total of $624, for a total cost not to exceed $1,314. Does that work, Robert?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I would choose to abstain, it's just a mess.
Motion passes 3, 1 no and 1 abstention. Thank you.
Highway Department. I move for the adoption of a resolution to approve the following. $1,600 to LTS Enterprises for clutch repair on truck number 43. We've had 3 quotes, one from BMAC for $2,500. Stadium International wanted $2,798.42. The clutch is inoperative and it needs to be replaced, and that is in the form of a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4 to 1.
The second is for Omni Services, and that is special hose fittings, hose and fittings for mower number 7. It's a wear item, $1,759 in the form of a motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 4 to 1.
Ethics.
Well, let me talk about the fire department
Okay.
budget workshop. We have, I think we had talked about this already, but we are going to have the fire department budget workshops. Most of them will take place on Saturday, September 20th, and Tracy has a schedule. We'll start at Bridgeport and then move to South Bay, then Georgetown, and I think North Syracuse is in the afternoon. And we will also, because Cicero Fire Department can't make it that day, we will be meeting separately with them on the 17th at 5 o'clock here in the town hall. So those are public workshops. They'll be open to the public. In Bridgeport, South Bay, Georgetown, North Syracuse, we will, those of us town board members that are available will be going there. And this will be advertised tomorrow. Correct, Tracy? Okay. We're going to defer this discussion on road salt. Mr. Woznicka informed me this afternoon that he was attending a fire conference this afternoon in Old Forge, so we'll defer one more time. And then the Board of Ethics, did you want to talk about the interviews?
I do, yeah. We, just so you know, we've had, actually, it looks like a pretty talented group of people, candidates who would like to be on the ethics committee that we're going to revive. And to do that, I've heard back, I think I contacted everyone. 2 people did not have email. I made personal phone calls to them yesterday. I heard back from 1 of the phone calls. I have a total of 8 people, I take that back. 8 people